And this is what's being pushed now because they're losing their grip on the narrative as well as control.
Yeah.
The greatest sacrifice of the 21st century is the Palestinian people. We have to make sure that they do not die in vain. Here's one of the reasons why.
There's a movement in Israel that wants to bring about the end of the world. It's called the Temple Movement, and it's crucial to understanding the ultra-right wing in Israel. A few weeks ago, a group of Palestine solidarity activists were protesting Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir's visit to Brooklyn. He was visiting the international headquarters of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, which is one of the largest ultra-Orthodox movements in the world. Most of the discussion of Ben-Gvir's visit focused on the attack against the pro-Palestine protesters, but what completely flew under the radar was what Itamar was even doing there to begin with. A video of Itamar's speech to the Chabad congregation showed Itamar jumping around and chanting that Israel will build a Jewish temple on top of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, the current location of one of the holiest sites in Islam, Al-Aqsa Mosque.
What do you think's going to happen if they attempt to do that?
I'm just so angry and sad. Like, I'm just so sad. I've been there, by the way. I've been to the Dome of the Rock. And it's incredibly beautiful. And, well, no, that's not.
That's what they want to build there.
Yeah, no, that's like Trump's Gaza kind of drawing. This is what we're going to do.
It'll be big and beautiful.
Looking at this, and I'm an atheist. I'm not a religious person by any stretch. But when I look at this, what I see, I feel like Moses coming down and looking at the people with the golden calf. Like, this is how absurd this looks. This is how ridiculous and superficial and anti-Jewish. That is the most anti-Jewish. People don't understand. Like, do people realize when Jews, and I mean religious Jews, when they get buried, what Jews are buried in? Like, do you know?
I think when you're buried, if you're like a traditional Jewish person, like
Correct.
Not a Zionist.
What it would traditionally?
I think you're buried just as Jesus was buried. You're just buried naked in a shroud. Like, that's it.
And it's a pine box, and that's it. Like, it is the most basic, non-ornamental, and that is real Judaism, right? This is an abomination. I see just a big golden calf. That's what I see.
Oh yeah, it's like everything that spits in the face of, much like Christ is a manifestation, a representation of the core belief system of Christianity, Muhammad being the core belief system of Islam. If you were to pick one core belief system of the Jewish faith, it would be the Ten Commandments. And this spits in the face of Moses and the Ten Commandments, if there ever was. Evangelicals are psychopaths.
But that's what this screams. This screams evangelical church. Like, that looks like a Hagee, Austin. This is the evangelical Christian Zio influence that you can see, that a lot of these the Zio Jews have attached themselves to that, even though they're total anti-Semites. And even though this is the kind of shit that they want to do, and these are people that the Jews have attached themselves to, this is insanity.
It is. It is insanity, but people need to hear this.
It's a mosque. Itamar is part of a wider constellation of ultra-right pro-Israel groups called the Temple Movement that want to destroy Al-Aqsa Mosque and replace it with a Jewish temple, which some extremists in the Jewish community believe will fulfill end times prophecy and bring back the Messiah. In practice, this is essentially a call for the total extermination of the Palestinian people, because Al-Aqsa is an absolute red line for them, and Muslims across the world for that matter. This messianic movement, which used to be completely fringe, is now at the heart of the Israeli right wing. You may have seen videos circulating recently on Israeli social media of Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock being blown up and replaced with a Jewish temple. This movement is being funded by some of the most genocidal factions in Israel and has been gaining so much momentum that its proponents now occupy positions in the current government. Here's what you need to know. The story of the Jewish temple, according to the Tanakh, is that when the Jews escaped Egypt and arrived in Palestine, which was known as Canaan at the time, they killed all the inhabitants of Canaan for being polytheists and built a temple to the one God they believed in what is today Jerusalem. The Babylonians destroyed the temple and the Jews rebuilt it on the same spot, only for the Romans to destroy it a second time, which led to the Jews being scattered across the world. According to some Jews, when Jews build a third temple on the same spot, the Messiah will return. The only problem with this is that they also believe that the first and second temples were built on the Temple Mount where Al-Aqsa is. The goal of the temple movement, therefore, has been to destroy Al-Aqsa. The most important group in this movement is the Temple Institute, and it's an organization dedicated entirely to building the third temple.
Well, let me tell you, they all look like they're native to that territory, Jen.
Oh my God.
Just
This is the antithesis, guys. If you if you are new here, we did have Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro on maybe a month or so ago, who is a Hasidic Jewish person. Like, you have seen many of the people that are the Hasidic Jews that have been out in the streets for Palestine, because they understand that doing what they're doing is actually a violation of the Torah. It is a violation of the Torah. So they can pretend this all they want, but it is not, it doesn't make it so. That's what I'm saying.
By hand and removing the abomination, meaning Al-Aqsa in the Dome of the Rock. They've spent years preparing ritual objects to be used when the third temple is built, things like robes for priests, a 42-kilogram golden menorah, animals for ritual sacrifices, and of course blueprints and 3D models of the temple itself. They produce ads and social media videos where Jews in Israel wake up one day with a fully completed Jewish temple in Al-Aqsa's place and call on the Jewish people to make the dream a reality. Their YouTube channel is full of lectures interpreting Jewish scripture through the lens of this fascist ideology. To give you an idea of how this group thinks, let's start by looking at their founder, a rabbi named Yisrael Ariel. Yisrael Ariel was a member.
All right, I'm going to pause it just because I have this thought, like, we're playing it for a really long time without taking a break. We probably should take a break. Like, I don't know what the rules are.
Do you know who this guy is?
No, but he's probably a psycho. The thing about them is I'm really seeing it very clearly right now. So basically, these are the Jews that are akin to the evangelicals. It's the same people. They're the same people. Neither are actually, regarding their own religion, acting in the correct accordance with either of their own religion. That's what's so interesting. Like, truly Christian people are not with those big evangelical churches. They're not with killing the least of these. That's just not their vibe. Like Palestinian Christians, for example. And that's the thing. So the evangelicals are to Christians what Zionists are to Jews. And they seem to really, it's a match made in heaven.
If heaven existed.
Of the Israeli Koch Party, which was a party that advocated the total removal of Palestinians from Palestine. Part of its platform was the banning of Muslims from the Temple Mount, and the Israeli Koch Party was so racist and violent that it was actually banned in Israel. The Koch Party's founder was a rabbi from Brooklyn named Meir Kahane, the founder of a New York-based ultranationalist paramilitary group called the Jewish Defense League that would attack and, in some cases, murder anyone they considered enemies of the Jewish people, i.e. anti-Zionists and random Arabs.
I want people to understand, I was actually taught and raised at the local Jewish community center. We were taught that, like, Meir Kahane, he was like the man. Like, we were actually taught that was the way. I just want to say that, like, he was someone who people thought of as a hero that I grew up with.
We'll finish it up.
Yasser Arafat said he was going to dance into the United Nations because JDL said they're going to use this. Someday, we hope very soon, we are going to use this on him.
We're going to use it on it. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, come on. We're going over there. We're going to take over the land, and that's what's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about, Jen? How about a nice piece of gabagool while you're at it? Oh, excuse me. That's Italian. That ain't Jewish. Give me a nice bagel with some cream cheese and some scallions on it. That'll do the trick. That's what I'm talking about.
The JDL is widely believed to have been behind the bombing and murder of Arab American rights activist Alex Oda, and the JDL also plotted to assassinate a Lebanese American member of Congress and blow up a nearby mosque. The JDL is a designated terrorist organization in the United States and Canada, but despite this, Kahane is not only celebrated by many Israelis, his thinking has been transformed into an ideology known as Kahanism.
Let me tell you, I've bartended one of these Zio weddings. This is way back when. The way that they dance, you have to see it.
Are you seriously telling me I have to see it? You don't think I've been to those weddings?
Take it up, girls.
I've lived it.
It's like the Rockettes. It's like they think they're the Rockettes. That's the way they move.
I don't look. All of that stuff is totally fine and dandy to me. And there is an inordinate amount of the Orthodox people in places like Brooklyn that do all of that and yet support Palestine. So, that's where there's definitely a rift. There is a rift in the tribe that's bigger than ever right now.